Welcome to Center and Circle, where we explore the space between who we are and the world we shape together.
A monthly space for grounded, honest conversations that bridge personal growth and collective wellness. Welcome to our center.
So I'm so excited to be here, Ariffa. Finally, are at on.
Finally.
We're here in on our first episode, and so I'm really excited to welcome our audience to our first episode of the Center and Circle. And just wanted to start this off by introducing myself, and then Ariffa. Hello, Ariffa. We're gonna just have a little bit of an intro moment so you get to know who we are. And in this episode, we'll delve more into what we're going to be doing, what we've been doing, and why we want to bring these conversations to our audience. So my name is Diane Carrion, and I am a HR and talent person in by trade, talent acquisition, talent development, with a long history of working in equity and inclusion initiatives, just helping organizations, corporations build cultures where more of us we can actually belong and thrive in a workplace. And I actually come to this podcast, just we'll get into this a little more, but I come to the podcast as a founding member of the Tengu Center, where Ariffa and I work together to support holistic well-being in the community. I've also hosted a couple of other podcasts, Candidly Speaking and All Included, where the conversations focused on equity and inclusion and topics both in and out of the workplace. So with the Center and Circle, we're bringing some curiosity and honesty into the new space, health, wellness, and purpose, and what it looks like to come back to ourselves again and again while staying connected to each other. And I'm just so excited to get this started. And so that's a little bit about me. Ariffa, do you want to introduce yourself to our audience?
I sure do. I sure do. Well, similar sentiments in my excitement as well. And hello, everyone. My name is Ariffa Bevan. I have a background in mindfulness, healthcare, empowerment coaching, and over the years, I've had the honor and joy of both teaching and being taught many powerful lessons that have shaped the way I see the world, that have inspired me to go on the pathway of opening the Tengu Center for Community Wellness, and just experiences that have deepened my love and commitment to personal growth and helping others, and my connection to this path that Diane and I are on for the Tengu Center, which is bringing, like you just said, Diane, wholeness and connection and community to others. And so I consider myself a lifelong student of life, especially when it comes to spirituality, creativity, the healing arts, and just doing this podcast alone is an extension of my vision and passion. And so I, again, share the same sentiments of being really excited. I am a program manager by day, and so I have a very analytical lens and strategic lens that I bring to the Tengu Center as the founding board chair. And so this is just a dream and a passion of mine. And it's just an honor, Diane, to be on this extension of the journey with you.
I'm so excited. This is great. So I think we should probably start a little bit with like what the Tengu Center is and where this all began.
Yeah. What do you think about maybe doing a centering moment first? Like maybe
Sure.
grounding the audience and ourselves, and then we could jump right into kind of our background. What do you think about that?
I think that's great. I think that's
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
Yeah.
One quote that came to mind for today, Diane, and I'm just looking over here just to make sure I get it right, is your own self-realization is the greatest service you can render the world. And this is by someone named Ramana Maharshi. And I'll say it again, your own self-realization is the greatest service you can render the world. So for our grounding, centering moment, which we try to do in every episode, by the way, we really want to reflect on powerful moments or quotes like this. And so I thought this would be a good one for today. And we'd love your
Absolutely.
thoughts first on what comes to mind for you on that.
Yeah, well, I would just have to say this isn't something we just do on the podcast. This is what we do when we meet and we're all over and doing lots of
Yes,
things. We're like, let's just stop and have a century moment. And we do this in our off the podcast
we
and
do.
on. So it's so important. And I think, just that we talk about when I think about self-realization, it really I just think of how it connects to the purpose of the Tengu Center and the purpose of this podcast of, really self realization is really self healing for me. That's what I think about. It's just self care. It's all those things that you could do to prepare yourself to go out into the world as a better person. And so all of that self care, self realization. That's what I think about it. Is
Yeah.
really about being a better person in your community, finding your center to be a good person in your community. So that's what I think of when I read that quote a few times.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And for me, I would say it's a reminder on just for the importance of our own self-growth and the impact that we
Mm-hmm.
have, and the fact that it's a really strong reminder that if we want to support others and those outside of our circle, that we indeed have to work on the center, and in this case, meaning ourselves. And so I really, first of all, really love how you called out that the centering moment is what we really try to do outside of this podcast. And so, because it's so important that in order for you and I to bring the energy that we want to bring
Yes,
to our work, that we really do have to make sure that we ourselves are in a space to bring that energy, right? And so, for our
yeah.
audience, I hope that that resonates with you, for those watching and listening, because it really goes to show that again, for us wanting to make this impact, that we have to make that impact within first, right, to begin.
Absolutely. And that it's so important to take some time to do that because we're like everybody else, we're juggling our schedule, but really taking the
Mhm.
time to create this podcast. We know how important it is in prioritizing that. And so we hope
Yeah.
that that's also what our audience will get out of the podcast. We'll have a little nugget and say, I really need to take some time to do that where I'm centering myself. So that's awesome. Well, I guess we
Yeah.
could actually start with from that is just kind of how this all started, where it began. How would you
Oh
like
my
to
goodness.
start?
You and
Yeah,
I,
yeah, yeah,
and us meeting and working together, I think
yeah.
you start with telling that story, because I have a lot to say about it, but
No,
really
it's
it
all good.
starts with you and I, and the
Yeah.
community connection that you and I had with each other.
Yeah,
You start.
absolutely. So we work together. It's been great ever since you've been in my, I love your energy. And so it's always been great to have you in my circle. And so we work together and I think that, others, the audience might resonate with this, but sometimes you work with people and you keep connection. But I think with
Mhm.
Arifa and I, we just really connected on a bigger scale, not just the work we were doing. And we were doing some really great things, I think,
We were.
where we were working, but just that bigger idea of like what we're contributing to society. And you've always been a sounding board for me. And then, you asked me to come on board the board of the Tengu Center, and I didn't even have to ask any questions. And let's get started because I know you had told me more about your back. You had told me about your background, so I had an understanding of your background, and so I just really wanted to get on board with this idea of creating this, the Tengu Center, and so excited about that. Tell me
Yeah.
your side of the story.
That is the truth of it on my perspective, honestly. What I gather from that is, and again, I hope our audience resonates or takes a bit of that away, which is you will always find like those people who are hopefully in aligned with your path, right? It's an energy thing where,
Yeah.
like will attract like. And so I am immensely grateful that, with this vision and passion, that I was able to attract someone like Diane and our other amazing board members who were in align and understanding of what we are trying to achieve here with the Tengu Center. And so for those who may feel like they're alone, or maybe haven't found what we call like their tribe or their community, know that those folks are out there. It's just maybe not yet. But I hope that if you've not found them yet, that you attract them soon, and know that there are typically always someone out there who really believes in your vision and in your dream. And so I'm grateful to you, Diane, and our team members for really believing in that journey.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that more people are seeking
Yeah.
this. Like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? What is my purpose? Where am I finding community? That could be because of just the, with the growth of social media, which is
Right.
has its great a podcast is out of right is a way to
Right.
connect, but it's also just but it also can have negative impact, and so people are missing that sense of connection. But
Mm.
there are opportunities, and I think people are seeking that out. So that's what we're hoping with this podcast, that we are actually reaching an audience that's looking for something like this where they can find community or find ways to find their community.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, to that point, kind of going to like the foundation and the why behind the Tengu Center, that
yeah,
really was it. For me, coming from a background of working in nonprofit, which I miss and love, and I love community work and
yeah,
always will. One of the challenges, though, was, you're bringing these amazing services and much needed services to the community, but they were very much restricted, right? And so in terms
hmm,
of the grant would only support this type of community or individuals with this type of condition. And again, they were very much needed, but I wanted to create something that would just serve everyone, right? But then, of course,
yeah,
be really strategic and intentional about it. But I wanted a place that would, in a center that would allow us to make an impact on various dimensions of really what it means to be whole and well,
yeah,
mentally, spiritually, physically, and not have no limitations on that,
right,
in a place where people would feel like they've come to a home.
yeah,
And have that understanding that it's not just one of these dimensions that makes you well or whole, it's all of them together. And so I
yeah,
wanted to have a united vision, a united place where people can come and receive that. And that was really the initial vision of the center. And again, like finding you and our other team members, again, I'm incredibly grateful because sometimes it's hard to explain that vision to people
yeah,
or for
yeah,
people,
yeah,
but that really was what the foundation was. And
yeah,
the name itself, the
yeah. I was
name,
gonna,
you,
yeah, yeah.
it,
How did you come up with the name, and how's that
yeah.
all come into play?
The name, I describe it as something that just, it came to me in a way that I could describe as quiet, but very persistent, very, very persistent. I heard it once and it just stayed with me and it
Hmm.
wouldn't go away. But for those who are not familiar with the word Tengu, Tengu are spiritual or supernatural beings, often crow-like or in crow-like form, and they are known for their wisdom, their discipline, their mastery. They're known as guardians, teachers, guides, and so all of that and just what they represented just absolutely
Hmm.
resonated with me and the vision that I had for the Tengu Center. And so that's where the first part of the name comes from. And of course, center, I really wanted something that can capture a home, that can capture folks coming back to something, right? Whether it be themselves or their community, grounding, a foundation. I wanted something to represent that. And then you may not know this, but I have a wing tattoo on my elbow that
Mm.
I wanted since I was really, really young. And so I've been really attracted to wings. And so in my early 20s, I got a tattoo of wings on my elbow to be ambiguous between like an angel or a bird, but
Hmm. Hmm.
that's where the feather comes into play with the Tengu Center's logo. But that's really the initial vision of it. I really wanted
Yeah,
something to capture all of these different pieces of what just stuck with me for a really long
yeah,
time.
yeah. I'm just thinking about, and we will do this often. I was just
Yeah.
thinking of an idea for a future podcast, and I think about like the
Mhm.
Dia de los Muertos, the what we celebrate in the Mexican culture, and how we have these spirit animals, and it's like a dog but
Mm.
with wings, or and how that keeps going. And it's interesting because I don't normally tape from this location, and I just thought, oh, we've got wings. So, so the universe always brings it back.
It's a
It always it's a
synchronicity.
yes,
It's
exactly.
a synchronicity.
Exactly. So let's talk about what we've been doing. What's 2.5 years at the Tengu Center? Let's talk more about some of the events that we've had and what we've done.
So we had one in June of one year, and it was like our first really big event. It was
Hmm.
at June Farms in New York, a hot yoga spot. June Farms is an amazing place for those of you who are able to get out there in New York. One of my top three favorite places actually. And we were doing a goat yoga session. And the goal of the session was really to combine and talk about the importance of both mind, body, spirit, and our connection to nature and animals, and doing it at June Farms outside and with the goats roaming around.
Yeah.
It was just incredible. The instructor was incredible as well. But it was our first really, really big event. And it stood out to me not only because of me falling in love with June Farms and being around these just really, really just humorous goats that will just nudge you and nip on your yoga mat. It was just fun all around. But when we were done, we were walking back out of the pasture where we were holding the session, and I kind of was like lagging behind everyone because I just really wanted to reflect, on the event. And I just remember just really thinking to myself that I hope that people got out of the session what I hoped that they would gain, right? And that I was just sending out just good energy, that they were leaving the pasture feeling better than when they came in, and just seeking confirmation that this was the right path in
Yeah.
terms of the center. And then I looked down on this very clear pasture, and I looked down after I was done, and there sitting in front of me was a crow feather. And I picked it up and I was like, okay, that's my confirmation.
I love it.
The right path. And so
I
that one
love
stood
it.
out to me
Yeah.
for that particular reason.
That one stands out to me as the one that I wish that I could have been at as well, because it just sounded so cool outside. And and for the audience, Arifa's on the East Coast and I'm on the West Coast, so I'm not actually able to attend as many of the events. But the one that I really loved was, to hear about from the team, and the feedback was the cat yoga. It was like a partnership with Karma Studios and Whiskers Animal Shelter.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
think for me, I always say this, like if I won the lottery and didn't have to worry about doing anything, I would just buy a big old farm and just collect as many dogs and cats, or animals as possible. And so
Yeah.
finding this was, helping find homes. It was also, I wasn't there, like I said, but just the whole idea, you hear about goat yoga, but cat yoga, I just thought, oh my God, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
And you could see that as like just a calming and a great event. But there was the goal of getting homes for some of these cats is the way I
Yeah.
understood it, right? Yeah. And so,
Yeah.
so that was one that I think was, just sticks out as a great event. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really fun. And two of our board members are in Colorado, and so I
Yes.
think almost a year ago to this day, they hosted an event in Colorado. This was a breakdancing event that was
Right.
focused on mental wellness through
Yes.
movement and dance. And so that one, Diane and I couldn't make it to that one, but the pictures and the experiences was amazing. So again, the goal is, and was, I should say, how do we achieve, from a mental health perspective, healing, right, through movement and dance. And so that one also stands out to me overall. And what I will say, Dan, is what I love about the work that we do is the intention on us really thinking through, like, what are those communities and groups and
Yes.
pockets,
Yeah.
right?
hmm
That we can potentially partner with it and hopefully have an impact on, and yeah, that stands out to me a lot. And
This is why you and I connect so much, because I was already thinking about that as we're having this conversation, because I was thinking we've worked with
yeah,
veterans organizations,
yeah,
having events where you are impacting a particular community. And that's what we also hope that the podcast will help
yeah,
influences. I'm going to tell you, all of us on the board, we all have day jobs. We're all like busy
right,
working, but somehow we're
right.
able to pull together these events in the community. And it's sort of like, if you build it, they'll come. And it's true.
That's right.
So what is that in your community in terms of what does the community need, or what's something that you've heard people talk about that could
Mm,
actually bring community together? And so, I was part of a book club for, I think over 20 years when I was in New York. And, at the end of the day, that was like my little community that we just created it out of like, friends that
yeah,
were like-minded, and we didn't want to read silly books. But, and anytime I mentioned to people that I'd been in a book club for over 20 years. People are like, wow, that's a long time. That's great. And I think it just speaks to the fact that people want to find something other than their friends, their family, something that they can connect with people who they have an affinity with
Yes.
something. So just wanted to
Yeah.
make that point because I think that's what the Tengu Center has been doing, and it's exciting to be part of that.
It is very much exciting, and we hope that our audience will join us on this journey as
Yes.
well.
And we want this to be an engaging endeavor. We know we're coming here, we're not live, you're listening to it, but we want to see comments. We want to hear was there like an idea that was sparked from this conversation? Is there a subject that you might think we should look
Yes,
into? As you listen more into the podcast, you may find
yes.
some. That's it's all about finding community and those things that we like.
Yes, and I mean we love and welcome recommendations of, people we should interview or meet with or things
Yeah,
to look into. So I agree with that wholeheartedly, which reminds me, talk about being excited here. Next month, everyone, we will be joined by John Severia. He is a former Marine and lifelong martial artist, as well as my own teacher of the sword, modern jiu-jitsu, tan jiu-jitsu, and so much more. Our episode will be called Lessons of the Sword, which I'm super excited
I love
about. We'll be talking about these arts, by the way. So we'll be talking about the impact that these arts have on the blade, the individual, the self, as well as the communities that we build as well. And so I am very much looking forward to this. As a quick teaser, in a way, we'll kind of be going back to the beginning of the Tengu Center briefly in terms of the foundation, but mostly the inspiration behind the Tengu Center. So I hope that you all are looking forward to that because I'm super excited to kind of provide and talk through a little bit more behind how we got started and really truly the inspiration behind this.
Well, I am excited about that conversation with you and John, and I just love the title of the episode. I think it sounds very exciting. And so I look forward to that conversation. I hope you all look forward to hearing that conversation and many of the conversations we'll be having. And we just want to thank you for joining us on this first episode of
Yes,
Center and
everybody.
Circle. Bye.
You can follow the Tengu Center on Instagram at the_Tengu_Center, as well as on Facebook and at thetengucenter.org. Until next time.
Center yourself and expand in community.